and girls and everybody in the non-conforming world, I'm going to look up. Look at that. A little greasy. You are listening to Queer Late Night, and if you are at home and you have a phone or a laptop of any sort, maybe you're watching this too, or if you have internet. Some people don't have internet. I am Elle McCullers. I am the host of Queer Late Night, and I get to share this wonderful, beautiful space with my sister from another mister, a thing that go bump in the night. She has a long 36 inches weave, real hair, does not wear wigs. It's my best friend in the whole wide world, Ricky Roman.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Hi.
Good morning.
How are
Is
you?
it still morning?
It's
Well, good afternoon.
What time is it in the afternoon?
12:30.
Yes, queen. Yes. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. We wasn't supposed to say that. It's at nighttime. 12:30 at nighttime.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, honey, right?
Mhm.
Best lighting there is. How's your morning going? Daytime
It's
going?
good. I'm awake. I shaved. I took a shower, and I'm here with you guys. I'm grateful to be. So thank you.
That's right. There's plural, not singular people in the room. I have the introduction right here, and I'm going to do well because I rehearsed it this morning.
All
You
right
ready?
now. Here we go.
Okay. Dr. Felipe, I didn't get the last name.
Henao.
Dr. Felipe Henao joined the New York teach as a dean student. I fucked up already. I'm gonna start over. Dr. Felipe Henao joined New York Teach as a dean of students of the New York City and Long Island campus in March 2022. Instrumental in bridging the gap between commuter and residential students at Mercy, he's also installed a holistic approach to students' success. He secured various grants various grants, including AmeriCorp VISTA, and helped to implement campus-wide food pantry to address food insecurities. He was recently accepted as a content expert for Complete College America, with the focusing on addressing students' basic needs, and now working on projects to address students' success, primarily to adult learners in the historically black colleges.
There's a button for that.
There was a... That's the wrong button, baby.
I like that button.
I like that button too.
Welcome, Felipe. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Did I do good with that introduction? I feel like I didn't
Hello,
get everything.
doctor.
I would give you a B+. Is that okay?
That is a passing grade towards a student that you like.
I feel like I got everything that was supposed to be said. By the way, I am not drinking. We won't get sponsored from this, so I'm not going to tell you what non-alcoholic beverage this is, but it is non-alcoholic. So I'm just going to say that right now. How's your day going?
My day is great. I am honored to be here.
Yes,
with the two of you, and I'm excited to start talking about issues and education and queer folk and everything in between.
Educating the kids.
You've been educating the kid, but don't skip too far.
I know. Just a little preview.
Okay, don't. I feel like you're nervous. What you should do is you should have something.
I think you're nervous. He's giving me good vibes.
Oh, you think I'm nervous?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a read. Oh, she's reading girls right now. Do you want to do queer news?
Yeah.
Let's do queer news first.
Okay, so a little bit of a slow news cycle for the queers, but it's always kind of, we talk about kind of gloomy, right? That's kind of the reality is we're always having to fight for something that's silly, not silly, but you know what I mean.
You got your sexy button queued up for after this. Downer.
I know. I heard about this last week in my current events listenings, and today I'm reading from them.us, brought to us by James Factora. We love them.
Yes.
And the article is titled, "Transphobes Are Worried Schools Are Installing Litter Boxes for quote-unquote furry students." And this sounded obvious. It's as ridiculous as it sounds.
All right.
So there was this woman in Michigan named Lisa Hansen who first raised the issue at a December 20th meeting of the Midland Public School Boards to testify that on a somewhat nefarious agenda being pushed through our schools. She goes, in quotes, "So let's talk about furries. It was addressed by a couple of months ago that it was addressed by a child a couple of months ago that they are put in an environment where there are kids that identify as furry, a cat or dog or whatever. At least one of our schools in our town has, in one of the unisex bathrooms, a litter box for the kids that identify as cats, with no source or any evidence given. Regardless, Lisa claimed that she was really disturbed by that and that she will do some more investigation. And this is just one of those dog whistle things, you know, that you hear for one of these ridiculous talking points from the right wing to devalue and undermine non-conforming and trans kids. You know what I'm saying?
A litter box.
A litter box for furries. I didn't even know kids knew about furries. I thought that was a more of adult theme.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think that's the case. I think it's a projection from
I think Lisa might have been
adult.
having some scissor up in her fucking minivan before she got to the PTA.
Absolutely. Come on.
She was watching Furbies, actually.
Furby. No, okay, let's not confuse those adorable, creepy little toys that we had.
Okay, the Furbies.
With the furry community.
Okay, well, I'm not really, you know.
Les is like I'm not well versed in either.
Either one of these, I guess. Whatever.
Doctor, your thoughts?
How you doing?
I'm not well versed in either of those either, but I am familiar with the furry community.
Right.
I used to live in Pittsburgh, and they had a national convention.
Thank you.
Where every year they had furries.
Okay, so
downtown
you've seen them, right?
I've seen them, and I've seen the litter boxes. And
I've also seen children.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've also seen children run up to furries on the street.
It's confusing.
I find it very entertaining. Because I see the parents. I'm like, you can't be this oblivious, right?
But how could they? How could they know? My parents wouldn't know.
No, absolutely not.
My immigrant-ass parents would not know. They'd be like, I don't know what cartoon this weirdo's
But if
from.
it makes him happy and he can hug it for free, if he can hug it for free, fuck it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That could
That's
be
clear
said for a
news.
lot of things.
Well, I hope that Lisa gets her ass together and
Truly,
please stop
don't-
coming up to the PTA meeting with these bad ideas.
With these bad ideas, we don't
We're
need
not
it.
really worried about that. Well, I'm happy that you found that news. I got some news of my own. It's gonna
Please.
be up. Can you play one of your hit one of your buttons?
Okay.
This is the new one.
No.
That one?
Let's get your keyboard together. What happened to the fun one? I like that one.
Okay.
Do you have your queer news one?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Taking from the same article source, the magazine, I found a very interesting article that triggered me. Oh, it wasn't triggering. Let me not use that word. I found an interesting article that was very touched for at home for me. As you know, lately I've been going out more, and I have been having issue finding non-alcoholic drinks that aren't just sugar. They're like, I can make you a Shirley Temple and charge you $8.
Right.
Girl, if I could just suck
The
on a Jolly Rancher.
disrespect. I might as well hit the floor. There's enough sugar.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to charge me $8 for soda. But anyways, I'm no tea, no shade. Them magazine released a new article. Article was on today, January 26, 2022, and it's titled 8 Drinks to Elevate Your Non-Alcohol Cocktail Drink Game. Non-alcoholic cocktail game. So they published an article where there is non-alcoholic beverages being made that takes the flavor and the shape of an alcohol one, but there's no alcohol in it at all. So you don't have to go to the bar and ask for, just fish it around. You can be like, oh, can I have some of the non-alcoholic tequila?
Right.
So there was 8 of them. I'm not going to get too deep in them, but I'm even going to list a few. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship for them, but I found them very interesting. So I've been recently really diving in deep into the Heineken 00.
Yeah.
Very good. It has the same taste as Heineken, but there's no alcohol. So when I was in Mexico from a vacation, that's how I started my morning. Because normally old me would get up, have some water that was alcohol flavored, and then start my day, which can be more. But anyways, I kept having the Heinekens, but there's new drinks. So the first one's called Death Mountain Water. I'm not sure if I should tell you about it. So I think this one's a beer. There's another one called Club Mate. You can look that one up. Look, I know people might be a little bit more familiar with Lagunitas.
Lagunitas.
How do you say it?
Lagunitas.
Thank you.
You're doing well.
Doctor.
I'm doing well. It's a hoppy refresher. So they have those. It's a 4-pack. Listen, these aren't gonna be like the most non-expensive drink, but if you can get like, you know, there's a lot of celebrations coming up. Springtime's coming up. People start reopening their doors, inviting people over, and it's always kind of like confusing. Like, am I gonna get there and not have anything to drink to somebody's event? And then you got to like go and tell them like, oh, you know, I'm not drinking. And they're like,
Sure. Right. Oh.
It's fine. But now, now you can. Now there's more and more brands showing up, popping out with new non-alcoholic beverages that let you be a part of the party and the festivities too, and you don't have to worry about the hangover of the cost of it as well. There is Froze Rosé, which I have had before. Really good. Tastes almost the same. Zero alcohol, of course. I even saw there is champagne now that outlet doesn't have alcohol in it. So it's all fun and games. You can still enjoy your life, and of course there's this dime term California sober. Don't understand that, but if you smoke weed, you can always, you know, I think they're coming out with weed drinks too.
Oh yeah, you can get that at your local dispensary.
A weed drink?
Yeah.
All right, let me go by there then. All right, well, I mean, that's my banter for you. Are you watching Drag Race?
I am.
Who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for a Willow Pill.
Willow Pill.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Willow Pill too, but I have to say I'm still also rooting for Cornbread.
I love Cornbread.
Cornbread is not one note. This past week was just not the best. She's not the best.
I didn't watch this week, so don't.
Okay.
No spoilers,
no
please.
spoilers.
No spoilers,
Yeah.
but you know what?
I like George's too.
George's.
Yeah.
George's is giving it.
George's is serving it.
She's serving it. Who are you waiting for, Ricky Rama?
I think I like Cornbread as a front runner. Willow Pill, I think, is a dark horse in the race. Yeah. There's something about her that's just like, oh, don't sleep on her. Yeah. She's weird. It's interesting. I like my fucking weirdos. And then Carrie. And I have to say Jasmine. I know I just said half the fucking cast, but these are who I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah, there's a lot of polish and very high fashion and different takes of drag. Yeah. I think that, you know, the creators of Drag Race, because it's more than one, are trying to be, you know, they put a straight person on.
I think it's interesting seeing Maddie.
I
like watching her clomp around in her fucking heels.
It's funny. You better wear a pantsuit.
I am entertained. I know that it's a very polarized topic, Miss Maddie Morphosis, but I am entertained. Color me entertained.
I'm not my favorite drag, but
it
shows how accessible the art form is.
Absolutely.
I think it creates an inclusive environment.
It is
the conversation is being had.
Yep.
We're having it right now.
We're having it right now. You know what? Performance art is not about sexuality at all. It's about
no binaries.
No binaries. Well, I have a queer question. And I think that I came up with a great one, and following our little bit of a banter. So the queer question's going to go to you first, Ricky Roman. You ready for it? You saw it already, right? Who do you consider the most iconic person ever for yourself?
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, no. Get your buttons out.
You know, there's I just feel like there's this, I have this default answer, but I don't want to be that girl. I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan, right? Okay, so she's someone I look up to as a performer, and
I forgot to put why.
Philanthropist, artist across the board, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm going to say me today. I'm going to say me because you said it the other day. You said I was iconic, and I'm going to believe you, and I have to believe in myself this year. So
you are, and I'm glad that you're believing in yourself. You are iconic.
Thank you, baby.
Can I tell them about where were we at Albatross?
Yeah, Albatross in Queens. We never get out to Queens, so that was such a fun change of pace. Go ahead.
Yeah, we went to Queens, and we went to Drag Race. We started off at Fresca's Cantina.
Have you been? Do you know this place?
Yes. Their food is so delicious.
We didn't have food. It looked really good, but I loved the vibe. I love the vibe.
She didn't have. I have food. I have food. I had some of the chicken nachos. I don't know what kind of cheese that is you guys are using over there. I'm sold. I'm sold. It could literally be like made out of like, I don't know, something weird. Find something in the kitchen. I'm sold. And the space was great. And we saw who was performing. It was one of your friends.
Sherry Poppins and oh gosh, I can't remember the Essence.
They were performing. It was really good experience. Then we popped over to Albatross for a little bit, and we did some karaoke. I never had a karaoke night on a Friday.
I love karaoke.
Oh, you got to come out with us sometime.
Please.
Oh, we got to get some B-roll of that. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, Give Me the Green Light by John Legend. Oh, Green Light.
Give me the green light.
Yeah.
That is
yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
All right, wait, Ricky Rowan, what's your go-to song? Oh, well, he's got a few. I'm going to tell you about it.
I do. I don't want to talk about it. You can come to karaoke night and find out.
Okay.
I'll also do Aladdin.
Oh, I love Aladdin.
Are you a Disney person?
Yes.
Oh man, I love those. I love those. That's when I get up and go to the bar to get a Heineken 00, or I go outside to smoke my vape pen.
Wow. Okay, damn.
Oh, as soon as I hear Frozen, I'm like, oh, they.
No, not Frozen. Not Frozen.
No, the classics, baby. The classics.
Yeah. Okay, I will listen to Little Mermaid because it makes me think of you. I'm like, oh, poor Ariel. We went to Albatross. They were doing karaoke night. We never go to a karaoke night on Friday night. Chris, this girl named Chris there. She was there. I saw her. I saw her. She was there. But Ricky Roman was also there. And
what'd I tell you?
I was talking about the girl. Okay, I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't have to justify anything to you. What was the name of the song you opened up with?
Parla più piano.
Slow it down. What was it called?
It literally translates to "speak softly, love" in Italian.
In Italian.
She
speaks Italian.
She does.
So soltanto un po'.
Okay.
All right. I know that. Well, yeah. Yeah. What did you say?
What do you mean? I was drunk and I got up and sang on stage. What do you mean?
What did you say just now?
Oh,
I wasn't even going to allude to the drunkenness.
I said I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, she was drunk. And she came out and she gave the most iconic, like, there was a song break where they do, like, like any long song, there's a break where there's just the instrument. And she turned around and gave us a little number. There's points.
Dance break.
There's points in our friendship.
This is my favorite during karaoke.
There's points in our friendship. I hear Beyonce, but I see my best friend. And Beyonce's always been like,
Beyonce's always in the back of his mind whispering, giving him advice.
Yeah, it's like, kill everybody. No,
that's Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, that's Sasha Fierce. No, he's doing this like dance number, and I got to stay in the moment because I didn't want to look away. So I just grabbed my phone, bring it up, and I was like, this can't be missed. This can't be missed. And we got further on tonight. I did a few more songs, and then by the end, you were shirtless, and you had a good time.
I had a great time.
Now I'm sad I wasn't there.
Yeah, he did a split.
There are some videos we'll show you later. Yeah.
Wait, what was your song though?
My go-to song that if I really want to knock the crowd away, it's gonna be Michael Bublé, "Feeling Good," which is actually a Nina Simone song. Yeah. But I like the arrangement of the Michael Bublé version. And if I feel like the girls are lit and I'm ready to send them home, I go ahead and pull out my Adele repertoire.
Oh yes, it's really beautiful.
It's yeah.
Les is like, yes, I'm really beautiful.
I am really beautiful.
I don't think I've ever heard you sing before.
You know what?
I can't wait.
It's a treat. Once I'm in the headspace, I'm there. I'm in the video.
I think I can sing. But I don't
that's
care.
the fun about
the
karaoke. That's the fun about karaoke.
Who's your most iconic person ever?
So I didn't get a chance to read this question before, but this is tough. I have two people that I admire and that I try to emulate and that I have learned a lot from, and those two people are Dolores Huertas, and Stacey Abrams.
Okay.
And I know that people think that Stacey Abrams just got on the scene, and some people know her, some people don't. I hope more people do.
Yeah.
She's an incredible activist, an amazing lawyer, and I hope that she wins Georgia this time around.
I hope so too.
And Dolores Huertas was one of the revolutionary activists who led farmers' unions. So she walked thousands and thousands of miles next to Cesar Chavez. And she's really one of the first activists that brought together people of color, LGBTQ, workers, and really just established the unions.
Wow. I like that. For myself, I guess I would have to say Beyonce.
I know.
I mean, Beyonce wins every time.
I mean, you just said two people that aren't Beyonce, and And I was thinking of like trying to switch it up really fast, and I was like, "Damn, bitch, you
No.
need to read a book."
No,
That's
stay,
what I said in my
Stay
mind.
true to yourself.
Yes,
You know, we have to speak our truths.
Yeah.
I really love Beyonce because I think that she's a very, very, very hard worker, and she doesn't like to like just do things for the thing. Like she releases an album. Beyonce doesn't do singles. I think that's really Beyonce, Luther Vandross. Yeah,
Give it up, Delicious.
Give it up, Delicious. You look like a man.
If I had to pick an artist I want to meet, I would probably say J-Lo. Just because she's hot.
She is hot.
J-Lo is hot. Do you think J-Lo is nice?
No, I hate to admit
Interesting.
it. I don't think so.
I don't think she's
Interesting.
nice. I don't
Yeah.
think Beyonce would be all like sweet and like.
I don't know.
She's
I feel like you've heard more nice things than not.
Yeah, I've heard
about Miss Knowles Carter.
Miss Carter Knowles.
Carter Knowles.
You haven't heard a lot of nice things about J-Lo, but it is what it is.
I know, but she's so hot.
So hot.
she could
Iconic.
dance.
An illustrious career.
Fine. My final answer, Shakira.
Okay. So you
Because
moved to,
she's really
Also-
nice.
so you moved to the other side of the
She
Super
does
Bowl
seem
stadium.
sweet. The other side of the Super Bowl stadium.
The other side.
She's also so hot. Still so hot.
so hot and can move so well. I hope I get out of bed and I hear cracking. I get nervous. I start stepping slower.
Your hips are lying.
They are lying. My hips are lying. They do lie. Well, this has been fun. We got our first segment out of the way, right? That's good,
did.
right?
Meaty.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Queer Late Night. This episode is being brought to you by AIDS Healthcare Foundation. AHF is an LGBTQ affirming health organization here in New York State and City and also around the globe. AHF prides themselves in providing little to no cost services like HIV testing, STI screening, HIV treatment, PrEP services for little to no cost. They even have a pharmacy that you can fulfill your prescriptions in. If you're interested in AHF or you'd like to find out more about the organization here in New York City, you can text the code QLN21 to the number 201-725-1328. Once again, that code is QLN21 at 201-725-1328. And if you're listening anywhere else in the United States or outside of the United States area, because AHF is global, you can go to their website at ahf.org. All right? Thanks for listening. Welcome back. So there's a reason why you're here. It's the beginning of the year, and there's a lot of things going on for people with planning the rest of the year, especially now because I guess we're making headway on the Panorama, unless another album drops, unless a single drops.
The remix album?
The remix drops tomorrow, then we'll get scared again for a day.
Yeah.
But school, you are Dean of Students at,
New York Tech.
New York Tech.
Yes.
But you've taught at more schools.
Yes. I've been at approximately 4 schools full time.
Wow.
Started out as an assistant director of student activities, and now I'm the dean of students. And I've been in higher ed for over 12 years.
Whoa.
I feel like you're not old enough to have done all that. That's awesome.
That's what I said when I read the.
How you got that all under your belt? When did you start? When you were 10?
Yeah.
Y'all are so sweet.
And and we definitely know that you're under 40 because you're in the 40 under 40.
Mhm.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
While I'm over here doing just her. I'm not that, but whatever. First question for you is, what gets your morning started? You're doing all these amazing things that we're gonna find out about. What gets your morning started?
Every morning I wake up and I think about the impact that my students have on me, and I never imagined working anywhere outside of higher ed unless I was a model / actor, which there's still time for that.
Absolutely.
is.
Always is.
But I always say that it's really important to find your why, to find your purpose, and I really feel like my why is to be a role model. Representation matters greatly for me, and I'll share a quick anecdote. My current school is very diverse, but predominantly white.
Okay.
And I have previously worked at Black serving institutions, Hispanic serving institutions, minority serving institutions, and I feel like that's where I got my energy, and that's where I was able to develop my role modeling skills for my students. I want to make sure that they know that anything is possible. I don't subscribe to the strap yourself by the bootstraps kind of mentality.
It's antiquated.
But it is very antiquated, and it doesn't always work. There's systems in place to keep some people down.
T.
Some people don't even have boots on.
So some people don't have
Okay.
boots. Yeah.
Let me strap up on my stilettos.
So my students keep me going every day, and
Well
some days
said.
is more challenging than others.
Yeah, I
Well
love that.
said.
Go ahead.
If you could, I feel like you kind of just gave us a taste of it, but who is Dr. Felipe?
Okay, so Dr. Felipe was born in Colombia, raised in Jersey. I always say I'm a Jersey Colombian boy.
Work.
I have always loved education. It was instilled in me. My mom.
Wow. I'm so glad it was for you, because I feel like that's not the case for most people.
It's not for everybody,
But
and
we
that's
need
okay.
that. We
There's
need to have
other-
someone a positive role model in this field.
Yeah, education is not for everyone, and I'm not here to preach just about education. But my mom went to 6th grade, and she actually just finished her associate's degree when
God
I
bless.
finished my doctorate, which was an amazing accomplishment for both of us.
Yay, Mom. Shout out to your
Yes,
mom.
shout out, Mama. And my parents came here from Colombia. They started their own cleaning company. I've been working, literally throwing trash away and cleaning floors since I was about 6, 7,
Wow.
8.
Wow.
And I always say that's where I get my work ethic.
That's
Totally.
so good.
Some of my favorite people on college campuses are the grounds and facilities. We get along really well.
I love that.
And Dr. Felipe loves to read. I read a lot. I'm sort of I always call myself an intellectual thought. You know, like I like to learn and grow, but you know,
Right.
still be sexy.
Oh.
What are you
Okay.
reading right now?
So I don't know if you caught the book that I have, but I'm reading How the Other Half Eats by Dr. Priya Singh, and it's talking about the inequalities of food systems in America.
Wow, we're going to get to that because I know that you started a program on campus, but wow, what's it called? An intellectual thought?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to.
I've never heard that.
Now
I
this is
love
on
it.
the record, huh?
I've got to
Okay.
raise the bar. I got to become an intellectual. I've just been doing half of it for however long.
She's got the thought part down.
Yeah, fuck. What's your sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
And how do you most identify with being a Scorpio?
When we want something, we get it.
Mhm.
That
When
sounds
someone
sexual.
crosses,
That says more of you than
That's-
about him,
Hit
baby.
the porn button. Hit the Pornhub button.
that's also a very traditional Scorpio, sensual and sexual.
It's true. If you subscribe to the whole horoscope thing, and I like to take it with a grain of salt, but there's something inherently sexy about Scorpios. Generally, there's a sex appeal.
What day of the week is that?
Late October,
Okay.
late October, right?
October, yeah.
Mid to late October,
Mid to-
early
Yep, October.
and early November.
All right. Fine.
I'm November 20th.
November 20th.
My birthday's November 28th,
Oh, 20th.
but I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah, I can see that.
Scorpio,
I like to say Sagittarius with Scorpion traits because I'm so close, and I feel it.
Oh, she's one of
I
those
feel it,
girls that in
baby.
grade school that like, what do you miss? Oh, I miss this. I'm like, okay, I don't
Ta,
I don't want to hear anymore. Thank you.
ta.
The last thing I'll say about Scorpio is don't cross us because the sting is real.
True.
Oh wow. Let your students know.
They know. They know.
Go ahead. It's you.
I just said, oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. La, 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 la. Here we go. What does it mean to be the Dean of Students?
I think the Dean of Students has a broad definition. It's traditionally been portrayed as the conduct officer on college campuses. If you think about any of the college-related movies that are in pop culture.
Would you describe yourself as a liaison for the students?
The way that I describe myself is I'm the dean for the students.
Okay.
I'm an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a liaison. A confidant at
Yeah,
times.
truly.
I still have to uphold institutional policies
Right.
and hold students responsible and
Right.
accountable, but I really see my role as advocating on behalf of the students for things that I notice or for things that they share with me that are missing.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I always say that I want to be the dean of students where students feel comfortable coming and sharing with me and seeking help and just sharing their successes. Just on Friday, I had a student email me to tell me that they had scored their internship at an engineer company. And this is,
Yeah.
I want to hear the good news. I don't only want to see them when they violate a policy or
Sure.
when they're in trouble.
Right. Very
Is it-
cool.
Is it easy to violate policies on campus? I guess if you're an on-campus student, right?
Any policy really, academic integrity.
No, not the cheating.
But the cheating.
Not the
cheating has
cheat-
gone up since COVID.
Oh
times.
yes, has it?
I bet.
Zoom.
Oh my, Zoom.
Yeah.
Have you been finding people been really cheating on Zoom? Come on, the camera's on.
Not always, but yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
just a lot of plagiarism and fabrication and things like that.
Damn.
But I always try to approach everything with a learning lens and making sure that students are failing forward and they're growing from their decisions. And I like
love
to think
that.
that's helped.
Yeah.
Real quick, I was one of the girls that eyes in your own paper. If you ever were in a class and I was in the class with you and they say that was me, it was me. I was the eyes in my own paper girl. I was like,
When the teacher walks by, you feel him looking over, and then announces to the class, "Make sure you're checking your spelling. Make sure we're using complete sentences." And they were just looking over your shoulder.
go ahead and put your name on your paper. Fine. What are some of the challenges that either you faced in your, because that's a long career path, educational path, but what are some of the challenges you face and that students normally face going through college?
Yeah.
No matter what, level they get to.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, my parents were very supportive of me and my education, and they instilled in me. They wanted me to have what they weren't able to have.
Amen.
They came to this country so that they had tremendous sacrifices so that I was able to attend college. And I didn't take that lightly. I took that very seriously. But that comes with challenges. As a first generation Latino, I got to college. I took out all the student loans, which, I went to Cancun and I did other things like shopping. And I wish I would have had somebody to tell me,
Don't do that.
You don't need $6,000. You only need to cover this.
Right.
And so I think that that's something that I actively try to impose on my students, giving them things, first generation students, Latino, Black, they lack the culture and social capital to understand what is to expect, what kind of questions to ask. Oftentimes we could be embarrassed to ask for help. We don't want to be singled out as the other or the one that doesn't know. So I think that all those things, and I attended a predominantly white institution back in the early 2000s. And so, I didn't have a lot of the programs that I try to create now for men of color and for LGBTQ students, first generation students.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. I mean, I would definitely say that one thing that I definitely took for granted that I had to kind of play into is like, if they're offering any type of tutoring, reading center, math center, after school, this is not high school. This is your one opportunity. I took the same math class 3 times. And it wasn't until I actually started going to the math labs and like being like, hey, I need help. I don't understand any of this, that I started getting what I need. So definitely speaking your mind and telling people, like, hey, I need some help. I'm not a good writer. And also talking to your professors, even if you don't necessarily like them. But the more I learned that I would talk to them, go to their office hours, I felt like they got a little more lenient and I learned a little bit more.
Well, you establish a relationship and it humanizes you as a student, and it also gives them the opportunity to know that you're trying. And I think that that's what you can do best. I always tell students, don't wait until you're failing to get to the tutoring center. I was terrible at math. I took a college placement course for 0 credits. But times are changing. We're creating courses that are co-requisite so that students can proceed in their careers, and that they're not getting held back because of these gateway courses like English, writing, math.
No, it's good. I mean, school is it's its own animal, and sometimes you gotta. I know. I was making sure she wasn't on the camera too. I was like, you see her paw at the corner of the screen. Go ahead. Do you have another question?
What are some reasons people should consider furthering their education?
5 of them.
5 specifically.
5 specifically.
5 specifically.
The hot topic ones. You're poor.
We don't use the term poor.
Not anymore. Not in this house.
No, I obviously the number one reason should be to increase your social mobility. Research shows that students that have a bachelor's degree can earn anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000 more, and that's with an associate's or a high school degree. Right now, the landscape of higher education, most people have a bachelor's degree, and so getting a master's or a doctorate still continues to be the trajectory that's expected for a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
But I think, again, social mobility and increasing your income is one reason. If you have the opportunity to attend college, I think there's a lot of things that we don't know that we like.
Totally.
And you know, college for traditional age students and adult learners is an opportunity to learn and to grow about yourself and to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. I have a mug in my office that I prominently display that says, you don't learn until you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And that's anything to do with race, with religion. It doesn't really matter. So taking those other courses that you think, oh, I've always been interested in archaeology, but I don't know. And the networking, you create so many relationships. If you take an opportunity, internships, and connections with folks that you never know who they're going to connect you with, that we wouldn't have traditionally growing up. I didn't have somebody that owned a company or that was a CEO or anything like that.
It's also good, like, I would say, like, it's good to, like, feel out if you, like, really want to do something else or other careers. Because when I went to school for public health, I was like, what do I even do with this? I was just going because, like, you know what? The military's going to pay for it. It's 4 years. I'm pretty sure, like, I just need a 4-year degree. I already knew, like, having the paper would be more important than not having it. But, like, it wasn't until I started going to, like, public health fairs and I got to, like, my senior semester when I was like, okay, this is how I can probably start wheezing my foot into the door. Do you have any particular things that 5 reasons not to go to school or anything reasons not to? Because
bad reasons too.
Bad reasons, because we're gonna get into, like, school's not really always affordable, so don't waste it. If
I would say don't go until you're just what you were saying. Don't go until you know exactly what you want to do.
That's great advice.
I think that we peer pressure people into going to college.
Totally.
It's the thing to do.
Totally.
I believe in community college system.
Totally.
I reflect on my experience. I went to a private institution for 4 years, and I think about what would have been like if I started at a community college. I was set that I was going to be a business management major. I love telling people what to do. My family owned a cleaning company, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take over the family business. But I quickly realized that I was not good at math, as I shared before, and I changed my major to I had accounting 1, finance 1, stats 1, and I did terribly. And I was an excellent student in high school. I called my family crying and I told them I want to change my major. Don't hate me. And they were like, we never told you what to major in. So again, that first generation peer pressure where you feel like the burden of your family's future is on your shoulders, even though they've never said those words. And so if you don't really know what to do, they don't. And if you don't really know what you want to, I read something the other day that a recent study shows that students don't think that it's worth taking out student loans to get their college degree. That they rather just, or prospective students, I should say,
It's
rather
daunting,
just work.
isn't it?
It is. And, you know, it's very easy. I just had a conversation with a student yesterday who said she called financial aid. She has an outstanding balance, and someone in financial aid said, well, ask your parent. And she said, I only have one parent, and she was denied. And, you know, I don't have a cosigner. So what do I do here? So these are the issues that our students are facing. And the cost of education continues to rise. In New York City, the cost of living is super expensive.
you know, and you're getting right to, I guess, the next kind of question. What are your thoughts? Well, this isn't my question. It's your question. You asked the question. Okay.
What are your thoughts on the cost of education and accessibility to the Black and brown communities?
Good question.
Very good question. So the entire American higher education system needs an overhaul, and you know, it'll be interesting to listen to these words years from now.
Totally.
When I'm a college president or something. But
I'm gonna try to come for free. Don't even try me.
You know, it's interesting because we talk about hard work, we talk about social mobility, and then we say, oh, a credit for a course is, you know, $1,200, $800, whatever it is, and we just assume that everyone can do it. And there's inequalities that exist within our communities that separate us whether it's housing, whether it's pay gaps, whether it's food. And so the cost of education continues to rise with very little increase from the government.
Totally.
Our Pell Grant,
Right.
so something that a student can automatically get from the state or from the federal government, hasn't gone up in years. The pandemic has shown that there are disparities between our communities
Absolutely.
and affluent communities.
Right.
So I think the whole thing needs to be relooked at from pre-K to postdoc.
Totally.
Still haven't-
Totally.
The Pell Grant's
Yeah.
still only what?
Right now,
5,000.
5,000, so
Oh,
2,500 for a year. But I think they're looking to expand that. One good thing about the state of New York, though, they've allowed formerly incarcerated students to apply to get Pell Grant, where
Grant.
before you weren't able to get any kind of assistance.
That's
just-
amazing.
So there's some social justice things happening.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you, do you think there's the potential, or is this just a wild dream, that we might see in our lifetime a potentially socialized system that would take care of higher education? Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
At least
like
the
that we,
first 2 years.
not
Yeah.
even just the first 2 years. I'm talking. There are other first world countries that have systems in place that allow students seeking higher education to go so
Yeah.
without X
Paying.
amount of pocket, paying.
Your question.
Why here in the greatest country in the world is this so fucking hard?
You know what,
Oh,
baby.
I do know why. I want to hear it from the good doctor.
Well, we're an individualistic culture, and
Yes.
if you think
yes.
about the conversation around should there be free college
Sure.
for everyone,
That's the problem,
Or
though.
canceled
That's the whistleblower word, free. It's not
Yeah.
free, right?
not
We're-
free.
We would pay into it
yeah,
as a social society.
yeah. The optimist in me wants to say that in our lifetime, yes, I think there's change. I think that there's people that are continuing to do the good work. One of the reasons why I continue to be in higher education is because I want to make sure that there is real change in these policies.
Amen.
Realistically, I'm not sure. And
Right.
I'm not
I
sure how long
understand.
it'll take.
I understand.
Oh, girl, we're not getting
You
it.
got we have to be realistic, but we have to. I love your optimism. We have to be
Yeah.
optimistic at the very least.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like systems that are it's all tied together. Like you don't want people to live off of government subsidies for housing, for food. You don't want them to use Medicaid, but it also you don't want them to have education. The education is really important for them to stand on their own 2 feet. Half of the people don't even know how to take care of their health because they don't know anything about it because they don't have an education. If they go to get it, there's so many barriers in place, especially if you're younger. Let's say you are a young mother and you have 2 kids. Well, now you have to add in childcare. Who's going to watch the kids while you're at school or trying to like do a part-time job or there's so many things. I mean, it's multiple systems that are chained together that aren't really working the best. But yeah.
Can I say one more thing about
Please.
the not attending college?
Please.
I think we need to, as a society, not undermine the trades.
Yes.
We still have folks that can do very well in vocational
Skilled labor.
and skilled labor, and we need that. And so
I agree.
I think we need to really concentrate on workforce development and programs that are investing in folks that know exactly what they want to do.
Totally.
My little sister doesn't love school, and she's an interior designer architect for a company, and she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She went in there, she went to community college, and then she did 2 years at a traditional bachelor school. And so I think that we oftentimes put stigma in, oh, you didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And school doesn't equal. I know so many people that love to read, that educate themselves, and so it's
Totally.
I would be a hypocrite if I said don't go to college. 'Cause I work at a
right.
college and I believe in higher education,
Right.
but there's other paths for other people too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said.
I actually come from like much like your background. My dad didn't get past I think 6th grade either, but he's always had a very hard work ethic, and he didn't go to trade school, but he had like a natural trade, which is trade labor. Like he's a very laborious person, he can do anything, but school's not for everyone. And back in his time of going to school, as he was graduating or not graduating, but in the early 80s, 70s, trade schools were booming. and I'm not sure what happened, but somewhere along the lines it was like, oh, that's for like poor people.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what poor people do. But everyone else goes to college.
Yeah. I can tell you, I've worked with so many students who they come into college and they want to graduate with a finance degree, or with they want to do something that doesn't match their skills. We really
Sure.
have to think about, what are we good at? What are,
What
we
are
passionate
you
about?
good at? What
you have
speaks
to wake
to
up
you?
every single day for the next 40 years
Sure.
of your life
Doing this. Yeah.
You have to love what you do. I always say that. I'm
I
very
agree,
lucky that
1,000,000%.
I get paid to do what I love.
Right.
And it's difficult.
It is difficult.
to find a career
Mhm.
versus a job.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I go back to what I said at the beginning of this. Finding your why and your purpose, I think, is so important.
Finding your why and your purpose is going to be the title of your podcast. Is that a good title? Did you just put on lip gloss?
Yeah.
when did that even happen?
Hey, you're listening to Queer Late Night, a late night podcast that gives people from the queer community to share their insight they've learned along their personal and professional journeys. We're partnered with Pretty Easy Podcasting, and they're in charge of all the editing for this podcast. While we don't have corporate sponsorships or sponsorships from anyone right now, so we're broke, we are very much welcoming any type of charitable donations to help make this show become more accessible to queer community around the world. Continue to listen, support, like, subscribe, and share. I'm your host, Elle McCullers. What school did you go to?
I attended Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
FDU.
Where
Please
did
welcome to
In
the stage,
Madison,
Fairleigh
New Jersey.
Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
In Madison, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madison.
Yes.
Damn, that was up in the fancy part of town.
Very fancy.
You've been to Madison, right?
I haven't. I've
It's-
only been to like Jersey City.
Oh,
No, Madison,
cousins there.
that's where I
Massachusetts.
live.
You said Madison, New Jersey?
Jersey.
There's a Madison there?
Yeah, Madison, New Jersey.
Okay.
Is that north? Is that central?
It's north.
Okay.
Yeah,
north.
it's near Morristown.
Okay,
I
okay.
lived in Morristown.
Okay, so not far.
Um,
Yeah.
Not far. And then you did, that was your undergrad, or was that for your master's?
So I did a 3-2 program. I got my bachelor's in communication studies and my master's in corporate and organizational communication in 5 years. So by my senior year, I started my master's.
Okay.
And then I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP, about an hour west of Pittsburgh,
Okay.
for my second master's in student affairs and higher education. And then I just recently completed my doctorate in educational leadership and innovation at good old NYU.
That's amazing.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really good.
It was a lifelong dream. I wanted to initially go to Tisch for acting. And I had a guidance counselor tell me, you'll never get into NYU, when I was about 16.
Sure, sure.
And she didn't help me with my college process at all. She told me I should go to community college. At the time,
Off of what merits was she giving you that advice?
racism.
That's what I
I'm
figured.
assuming.
I
Let's
honestly-
find her and beat her ass today.
She's probably dead.
Okay. Let's still do it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I know that we moved some of the questions around, but you said you want to talk about this. That was a bad experience from someone in your past. What about a good experience? What good experience or story can you share of a student's life that you changed?
So I've been in higher ed for over 10 years, and I think that there's multiple stories that come to mind. At my previous institution, I have 3 students that 2 are pursuing their doctorate and 1 is pursuing their master's in social work. And they were all student workers in the Office of Student Life that I oversaw. And I saw them when they came in at orientation. I saw their potential. One is half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. The other one's Dominican. She's in med school in Antigua. And the other one is Egyptian. And they reach out to me and they say, I wouldn't have gone to get my master's, my doctorate if it wasn't for you, and how hard I saw you. When I'm very transparent with my students and very vulnerable. And, when I was studying for my GREs, I would share with them. I shared with them what my score was. A couple of them didn't get the scores that they needed.
Yeah.
So it took some time off. But I think it's so many students and I get to learn from them. Right now I work at a school that's primarily engineering, health professions and architecture. And my mind's always blown when I talk to my biomedical electrical engineer students, because sciences is not my strong suit.
Sure. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
To have to be that positive influence. It's really full circle, isn't it?
How to make you feel? Because you're not old.
But I'm wise. I'm not old, but I'm wise.
Yes.
No, I think, I had great mentors too when I was in college. People that inspired me to go into this field, people that believed in me, people that tapped me for, to be an orientation leader, or to be, I was sharing with you that I was president of my fraternity. So sometimes it's difficult for us to see what our own abilities are, and it takes somebody else saying, hey, there's something in you, there's a spark, and giving them those opportunities. And we go back to access. Some of us didn't have that growing up.
Totally.
I worked with my family my entire childhood and through high school, and then I got a job at 16 at the Gap, and I worked in retail, and always trying to help them pay for my education. And so there's folks that spend, every summer in high school doing internships at one of the Fortune 500 companies. We don't have that luxury.
Right.
Yeah. And you got the firsthand experience. You have this great educational background, but you also know the price of hard work and not having and still achieving. Because I remember you said earlier you grew up in the house, you had a swing set and a pool. But that's because your family worked very hard to provide those things for you and to give you the education that you deserve and need. And obviously you're taking, and being a dean of students, having that connection with students is very important, because that's the face of the school. It's no other face that you really see or care about as a student other than the dean of students or the dean over your own program. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, they call me the guy with the bow tie. Hey, you're the guy with the bow tie from the emails.
You love bow ties.
I do love me a good bow tie.
A little bow tie. It's you.
Tell us about the food pantry initiative. What sparked this?
Yeah. So food insecurity and hunger are an ever evolving and ever growing issue. My dissertation focused on addressing food insecurity as a student success barrier for Black and Brown students specifically. And one of the things that I noticed, and my research was a qualitative study, and I'm sorry if I'm boring any of you, but I interviewed 20 students, predominantly Black and Brown, predominantly first generation. And one of the things that I noticed in my findings was that many of them grew up through poverty at a homeless shelter, utilizing soup kitchens. So the majority of them were not experiencing food insecurity or hunger for the first time. As colleges and institutions of higher education, we're saying we're providing access to you to get here. And I truly feel that the students' basic needs are just as important a tool, like you were mentioning before, tutoring, our Office of Accessibility, our academic advising. And so what I want to do is normalize the access to those food pantries. And in my previous institution, we had conducted a basic needs assessment, and it had shown that more than 50% of our students had experienced hunger within the past 30 days at the time. And that was back in 2015. So I got together with a collaborative effort of different faculty, deans, students, and we opened 3 food pantries at my previous institution that was multi-location.
That's amazing.
And we grew from about specifically 57 members, and then when I left back in 2000, and actually last year, 2001, we had over 800 students, and we had continuously assessed to see if by providing access to the food pantry, they were able to focus more on school or to not go hungry. These are basic needs, hierarchy of Maslow's needs. Food, shelter, water, and we can't expect our students to go out there and study and to perform at their highest level if they haven't had a meal.
Or they're worried about where they're going to get their next meal.
Absolutely.
And another barrier that was very prevalent here in New York City is transportation, right? We take $2.75 for granted. But when you're commuting from Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx to get to Midtown, Long Island, Westchester, wherever you're going, it adds up.
Absolutely.
And these are costs that are not covered through higher education, that they're not covered in your package.
That's crazy.
That's something I've never considered, thought about in this area. It's true.
And go ahead.
just to go back to the question about food insecurity, it's interesting. My problem of practice and what I wanted to address going into my doctoral program was to increase persistence for Hispanic males and Black males specifically, because they are usually, depending on the institution, but 10 or so points behind women, women of color, and white students. And once I started really looking at a population that we serve and today's college student, most of our students are either juggling 2 part-time jobs. They're the primary breadwinners of their multi-generational household. And so really having support mechanisms on campuses, and colleges alone are not going to be able to solve this issue. This is something that we have to solve within our communities, that we have to have corporations that care about the workforce and the future of our leaders. And, it's interesting. There was a survey done in 2019 that only 14% of college presidents had listed addressing students' basic needs, food insecurity, as a student success barrier. And so that goes to show that.
That's confusing.
And that was right before the pandemic.
Disappointing.
Disappointing. Yeah, but it's something that a lot of schools are taking on their own. If we're bringing these students in, how are we supporting them to get them to the finish line? It's not enough to just admit them and then,
School can be very demanding, especially if you coming from the point of, I am a such and such age and I should have done this by now, so I should take on extra load of class, and because it just doesn't work that way. I took on 6 classes my senior year of college because I felt like at 26 I should be done with school and be well into a career. So I took 18 credits. It was the worst thing I ever done because I suffered, and my grades, the grade point average, was bad too. But I was also worried about the fact that I've been here so long. I also have to do extra things to work for food. I was a stripper and a go-go dancer on the weekend with this bitch. She got me a high. I'm out here scripting until 2:30 trying to get this $5. Anyways, it's really true. I also started off at Southern Connecticut University living in a car for 2 weeks. Yeah. And food was definitely a problem, but that's amazing. We always have people on here doing amazing work, and addressing hunger amongst people that are trying is definitely amazing work.
You just talked about homelessness, and that's something that we haven't figured out. We have not figured out how to help our housing insecure students, but we will keep trying.
What would you like to accomplish for yourself this year? If you don't mind sharing, you can pick something. You off the list, big.
So you mentioned at the start of our conversation that I'm working on a project. It's a consulting project that it's near and dear to my heart. So I'm working. Lumina Foundation provided $1 million to an organization called Complete College America, and they take a look at what are the infrastructures and the systems and the best practices that we can implement to help our students cross the finish line. And this project in particular focuses on adult learners at historically Black community colleges, which is it's a sector that we don't talk much about, and that are often not well resourced. And so part of what I'm doing this year is helping organizations in Kentucky right now. I'm working with a group of community colleges that are looking to see what's in their sphere of influences and what are some things that they can do to help their students at their particularly
in Kentucky.
In Kentucky, yeah. There's there's sort of a concentration of Black historically Black community colleges in different states, and you would never think that Kentucky would be one of those.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even think of Kentucky at all. But
but to your question, it's funny. I don't like to think about goals as it's the start of the year.
Sure.
I do believe in manifestation. I do believe in projecting, but I just want to be able to continue to learn myself. I always say that as an educator, I consider myself a lifelong learner.
Totally.
I can't expect others to learn if I'm not doing the hard work myself. And so those are some of the things that I'm doing and trying to help.
As a having a doctoral degree means you have to do publications every so often?
I don't have to. I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You
So
don't
I'm
have
working
to.
I'm working on a journal. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, 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 yes.
I'm working with a colleague of mine, Mary Sherman, who's located out of California, and we're working on a piece around the human infrastructure when it comes around food insecurity for a engineer journal. So you wouldn't think that that's something that engineers would care about. They care about water systems, plants, food systems. But I had a colleague who approached me and said, we're missing the human aspect of food insecurity and how do we help our communities. And so that's something that I'm hoping to get done by May 15th.
Wow.
That's my deadline.
Yes.
So yeah.
I would not. That's the one that I do not like writing, so I would not be able to be a doctor of anybody's hospital.
If you could give yourself 10 years ago any words of advice, what would they be? It's like the end of Drag Race.
We can pull out a picture if you want.
Yeah, pull a picture of little Felipe.
What would you say?
What would you say?
We got hers.
I would say don't take yourself too seriously. I think there was a point where I am very goal oriented and very driven, and I do believe that you work hard, you play harder, but I always said that I believe that. And as I look back at my career, I think that there were moments where you should just be,
Just be.
But again, I don't think that I would be where I am today if I hadn't been hard on myself, set
Totally,
expectations for myself and try to meet those expectations. This goes into therapy, and I don't think this is a therapy session, but
okay.
Two things that I identified through therapy, which I think everyone should go to, is I'm a control freak and I am a perfectionist, and just letting go of those things and understanding that there really is a rhyme and reason for everything. I shared earlier, I wanted to go to NYU since I was 14. And there was one day where I was sitting in Washington Square Park and I wrote a letter to myself, future Dr. Henao, and I congratulated him for his accomplishments in graduating from NYU. And that's the day that I decided I was going to study for my GREs and that I was going to make it happen. And I did. And so I think that there's a balance that needs to be had between putting so much pressure on yourself, but also just enjoying the moment and not
absolutely
throwing yourself off the rails because something didn't go according to plan.
A fine balance.
Yeah, find a balance. I practice yoga too. Find that balance.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man, you got a doctor's degree and you do yoga. Well, my ear's ruined. Just kidding.
There's still time for change.
Totally.
not for me.
Wow.
We always like to leave off the show with 10 organizations. Not 10.
10.
Not 10. It's not 10. Don't give me a list of 10. Give me one organization that you've definitely encouraged people to donate to follow, and to support.
Okay. So there's a local organizations, New Alternatives.
Okay.
It's a organization that focuses on transgender, BIPOC youth, and they're located on West 40th.
Okay.
And they call us people that volunteer angels. So they often have angel requests where it's more often than not, they're actually just got into college and they need a Metro card, or they just got into a residence hall and they need to decorate. And so you can donate money, but they also have, pre-COVID, they had a lot of events and fundraisers, and I often help and volunteer there when I can. I need to volunteer more.
New Alternative is located where?
West 40th.
West 40th?
Yep.
Right down here.
Right down the street.
Bomb. We're going to stop by too.
Yeah.
We're going to send a shout out to them. And everybody else who's listening and watching the show, please, if you're in New York City or if you're anywhere else, I'm pretty sure you can go to the website, donate. This is a great foundation fund. I've heard about New Alternatives before. And more importantly, too, is that also I know that people are outside the city like, I can donate to this, but it only benefits people in New York City. You don't necessarily know that, too.
Right.
Also, a lot of people, whether they're seeking asylum, whether they're moving from state to state to get better benefits here. New York State and New York City has a lot of resources, but that doesn't mean that we have a lot of resources for everyone. So the more that, you can donate, volunteer, provide here, it gives people outside the city a space to come and, be here and be a part of that. Because a lot of places in the South and the Bible Belt don't have new alternatives.
Can I give one more shout out?
Of course.
Yes, you can.
Food Bank of New York City, also a place where when you donate $1, that dollar goes a long way. They support college pantries, and so without their support, we wouldn't be able to serve our students on our college campuses.
Food Bank.
So shout out for Food Bank of New York City.
Food Bank of New York City.
Yeah.
Bomb.
Very cool.
Thank you so much. Do you have any last words for us?
Oh. I just want to thank both of you again for having me, and it's been an honor and a privilege to talk about these issues that I know are a little heavy. But
you lightened it right up and made it very digestible, I think.
Very great.
Thank you.
Should we do Marry, Fuck, Chill?
We do need a new game.
We do.
We were just talking about this. It's usually how we close the show. So sure.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I can't think of another game right now.
I'm ready.
Okay.
We're going to marry, fuck, and chill with someone because we're not killing anyone.
Yes.
Let's see. What should the category be?
I was gonna say James Bond villains, but
I don't know them enough.
I've never
Baby,
even-
come on.
I've never even seen the movie.
I was gonna. Then why even suggest that? Come on.
I don't know.
How about villains in general?
Villains.
Villains.
Okay. Can I go first?
In suggesting people?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. My first villain.
Okay.
Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman.
Ooh.
The
Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Okay.
Yes. That's one. Here
Okay.
you go.
Dr. Evil.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's my
And
turn.
one more.
Yeah.
Was there a villain in Captain Planet, or was it just problems?
Captain Planet. Oh yeah, just problems. Big corporations. They were the fucking villain.
Okay.
Okay.
Joker.
The Joker.
Oh.
Okay, fine. Which one?
Heath Ledger. Duh.
Oh yes.
I mean, what was his last name?
Heath Ledger.
The other one.
Which one? With the tattoos and he was with the Harley Quinn.
Yeah, not that one. The other one. The one that was actually very dark.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yes, not the white one. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix
Okay.
as the Joker.
Uh-huh. Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and Dr. Evil, which was Michael Myers.
Okay.
Sure. Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
Marry, fuck,
Fuck,
chill.
Mary, fuck, chill.
okay, I would say fuck Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
Because he's twisted, but probably
You
fun.
know he's gonna lay down some crazy dick.
Yeah. And you're going to have to take the subway home.
Marry Poison Ivy
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and chill with Dr.
Dr. Evil.
Evil.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, definitely fucking Joaquin Phoenix. I guess marry Poison Ivy. Like, why not, right? She's
Okay.
got poison and stuff. It's
Okay.
cool. And yeah, chill with Dr. Evil. I'm pretty sure he's got some cool shit, right?
He's got cool toys.
Laser
laser,
rays.
Yeah,
laser shark rays.
Hey, get it how you live. Your turn.
I hate when I'm just so boring, but literally the same thing. Come on.
Okay.
For those people, yes, I'm going to fuck the shit out of Joaquin Phoenix. I'm going to get high with Poison Ivy, and I'm going to play with Dr. Evil's fucking laser sharks.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you Poison Ivy got that loud weed. I bet you
Loud, baby. She cultivated out of her poussoir herself.
Yes, it's like bing banging. You're like,
Okay. You're going to lose your mind.
But yeah, hopefully.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a controlled good way.
This has been a pleasure. I feel like this has been a very great episode.
I think so,
And
too.
that it's been very knowledgeable. I hope that if viewers and listeners were able to take away some very great knowledge, if not great knowledge, and definitely some respect for Dr. Felipe here, who's out here doing the large work
Okay.
at
Good
the
work.
schools, providing food, providing equality, diversity, just doing amazing work. I knew that you'd be a great guest coming here. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
doing
for the
this.
invitation.
And where can everyone find you?
People can find me on Twitter, and of course, I always forget my Twitter account name. So
I hope this isn't a dirty Twitter.
give me. No, it's not.
It's his alt. It's his alt
It's alt
Twitter.
Twitter. Oh my God.
It's at DRDEANHENAO05.
Okay.
Dr. Henao 05.
Dr. Dina now 05.
Yeah, and if you didn't get that, you can rewind this tape.
Right.
play
Pause.
it
Slow it down.
And play it again. Yep. And you can find us, Queer Late Night Official, at my Instagram handle, which is at LMcCullers, ELLMCCULLARS. Bam.
And you know what it is. I'm Ricky Nye. I'm Ricky Nye. I'm Ricky Roman 91 across the board.
Tell them about the Pornhub. You didn't tell them last time.
I always forget about the Pornhub. You know, this Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pornhub. That's the only place I have a blue check mark is on Pornhub. They won't give it to me on Instagram. Instagram.
You got
Tuh. But I am confirmed on Pornhub, so you know that what you're looking at, that content, that is mine, and it helps me. So yeah, go check that out.
Support your local sex workers.
Okay.
And if you're not doing that, you can support Queer Late Night. Thank you so much for listening.
We love you.
And watching. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.